Hi everybody, Dan Illman here, taking a look at the Stronach 5 sequence for Friday, December the 27th. A $100,000 guaranteed pool in the Stronach 5, a low 12% takeout. Remember, the Stronach 5, a $1 minimum bet. We've got 3 tracks represented in this week's Stronach 5, 1 race from Laurel Park, 3 from Gulfstream, 1 from Golden Gate Fields. Let's take a look at the entrance in Leg A, the one and only race from Laurel Park. It's race number 8. It's a 1-turn mile, and it's a nice optional claiming race. Non-winners of 2 other than $35,000 is the optional claiming tag. And as always in these Stronach 5 videos, I'm going to give you some early opinions, pre-program changes, scratches, track conditions, etc. Use them, discard them, do what you will with them, but when it is time for you to make your final determinations for the Stronach 5, I'd urge you to use the DRF Bets Ticket Maker, an efficient way to rank your contenders and to bet them accordingly. I think 2 horses stand out in Leg A at Laurel. The 1 Tappin' Cat, the 8 Jaffazo. These horses are going to get bet in here. Jaffazo, the 8, I think is dropping back into a good spot, not only dropping back in distance after trying a mile and an 1/8, but also in class. He was in the Richard W. Small Stakes, a race that was won by graded winner Sunny Ridge. The runner-up Han Sense came back to finish 3rd in the Queens County at Aqueduct with a 90 Beyer speed figure. And Jaffazo just didn't have a lot of pace to run at that day. I thought he plugged on well to finish 6th, only beaten 4 lengths. He turns back to the distance of his most recent win 2 starts back, and I think he should get enough pace to rally into in race number 8 in this 1-turn mile. Tappin' Cat, the number 1, has finished 1st in 3 out of his last 4 races. While he was disqualified last time out, there's no doubt in my mind that he was the best horse that day. He was bumped hard at the start. He was very eager and pulling going into the first turn. He had ended up being steadied all the way back into a tracking position. He made a smooth bid on the turn to take the lead. And okay, he bumped with his foe in the stretch. It looked like the jock on the horse that got put up did a little bit of acting. Tappin' Cat was disqualified, but he's just in excellent form. And this 1-mile distance, I think, is going to hit him right between the eyes. He's been successful around 2 turns. He's been successful sprinting. Tappin' Cat also has a little bit more tactical speed than Jaffazo. So those are the 2 I'll lean on in the first leg of this week's Stronach 5. It's the 1 and the 8. Race number 8 is the second leg of the Stronach 5. It's at Gulfstream Park, 5 furlongs on the turf. $16,000 is the claiming price. And the morning line favorite in this race, Pocket Change, is taking a curious drop in class, a suspicious drop in class, if you will. This is a 5-year-old. He has only started 8 times in his career. He obviously has had his share of physical problems, so much so that he has only raced once in 2019. That was in the Rainbow Air Stakes at Monmouth back in September, and he just didn't fire that day. Now, off yet another layoff, he is dropping in for a tag for the first time. It's almost as if Jason Service has put a sign on this horse's head saying, "Claim me, please." I usually don't like to play these kind of horses, but if you look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race on timeformus.com, you'll notice that Pocket Change should be able to get to the lead. And if you look at some of his back races from 2018, any of those races would be good enough to win. Pocket Change, yes, this is a suspicious drop. He's not the kind of horse that I would want to bet to win at a short price, but in a sequence like the Stronach 5, where I might have prices in other areas, I have to use this horse. Pocket Change at 9-5, dropping in class. In that Rainbow Air Stakes, he could not get close to the pace. He ended up in between horses. He ended up down in the pocket on the turn. It was a very tight spot in between horses. Paco Lopez didn't seem very interested in asking too much for this horse once he was beaten in mid-stretch. He gets 1 chance at this level for the Service Barn. I cannot stand alone with a horse taking such a suspicious drop, however. I think the 6 Tale of Cantharos, who is sharp and also has speed, must be considered at this level for trainer Peter Walder. He showed good speed last time out at the 16 level. He was only beaten a neck that day. He's run well historically at Gulfstream Park. And if Pocket Change can't run anymore, Tale of Cantharos is either going to be sitting right off that horse's hip, ready to attack turning into the stretch, or he's simply just going to get to the front end. Tale of Cantharos at 6-1 on the morning line is a horse that I would use as an A, playing this race from a DRF Bets Ticket Maker. If I had to use one backup in this race, it probably would be Amelia's Wild Ride. And Amelia's Wild Ride is 8 years old. He is a graded stakes winner. He's not the horse that won that Woodford back in 2015 at Keeneland, but he's still solid enough, and he can come with a kick if the pace is fast. The horses that ran 1-2 last time out in that state-bred optional claiming race. Amelia's Wild Ride was third. They came back to run 2-1 and an open and non-winners of one other than an allowance with an 80-82 buyer, respectively. They're solid horses. Maybe that race showed that Amelia's Wild Ride is getting back to his good form. I would use this horse at 8-1 as a backup, considering that he has back class, and it is interesting that Lopez lands here. We stay at Gulfstream Park for the third leg of this week's Stronach 5. Remember, $100,000 guaranteed pool. It's race number 9. This race is also your DRF race of the day for Friday, which means you can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. So access them for your Stronach 5 handicapping as well. Two horses jumped out off the page for me, the 2 promo code and the number 7 Benefactor. Promo code is an interesting horse for Todd Pletcher. Started his career at Gulfstream over the winter of 2019, immediately won his first 2 races, and I'm sure Todd was thinking, well, here's a 3-year-old that's handled 2 turns. Maybe we can get him into some graded stakes races, and you never know, we'll see him in the summer as a potential Travers horse. Well, nothing went right. He hasn't been seen since April the 25th. He's obviously been injured. Pletcher excels off these long layoffs. You usually don't worry about layoffs with Todd. Promo code has succeeded sprinting in the past. I think he is going to be forward with an alert break, if not outright on the early lead. And that 84 buyer was earned as an April 3-year-old. If he has matured, if he has gotten stronger, I would not be surprised at all if promo code runs a good race, perhaps in gate-to-wire fashion, in leg C. As for Benefactor, he has the recency. He ran the Claiming Crown Rapid Transit last time out, could not get close to the pace that day. Just seemed like he was out sprinted, and I think 7 furlongs is a little bit too far for him, so I'm happy with him cutting back to 6.5. 6.5 might still be far, but it's not 7. And Benefactor last time out was in against a decent group in the Claiming Crown. Empire Power came back to run second in a non-winners of one other than with an 81 buyer speed figure. Second off the layoff for Benefactor should work out, and he can get closer to the pace. If you look at his PPs, 2, 3, 4, 5 back, he has the ability to stay close. He should be close to the layoff horse that I mentioned earlier, the number 2 promo code. And those are the 2 horses that I would lean on in leg C of the Stronach 5. And again, check out the accompanying Race of the Day video with those free pass performances. I talk about every horse in the race. We'll move out to Golden Gate for leg D, race number 3, Maiden Claimer, 5.5 furlongs on there, Tapeta surface. 2-year-old fillies, let's beat the chalk. The 3 Ladies Love Money makes sense simply because she is taking a gigantic drop in class. She raced twice at Del Mar during their fall meet against much better horses, and she showed speed. And if she can duplicate that speed on the Tapeta surface, she's going to be tough. But that's a big if as she tries a synthetic surface for the first time, switching to high percentage trainer Jonathan Wong. This is just not my kind of horse. A horse that's run well on dirt and is now trying synthetic for the first time. I think there are alternatives, and I think that the number 5, 8-05, might be one of those alternatives. 8:05, I think, ran better than it looks in that November the 30th career debut. He broke well, and there was a pretty fast pace on for her. She chased down towards the inside. She got tired late. It was completely understandable. One of the also-rans from that state-bred maiden special dropped into a 12.5 Maiden Claimer, ran third with a 55 buyer. 8:05 is going to try to do one better, dropping all the way down to the $8,000 Maiden Claiming level. I think she can keep Ladies Love Money company early and maybe outlast her down to the wire. The 6, the Champ is Flooring, is a horse that not sure if I want to use as an A, but definitely as a backup. Just seems like she's improving at the right time. Showed speed when dropped to the 12.5 last time out. The stamina has not been there, but now she drops all the way down to the 8. First time for this new barn. This horse is going to be a decent price. I expect her to drift off that 5-1 morning line. So for me, I'm going to try to beat Ladies Love Money, the 3. I'm going to try to do it mostly with the 5, 8:05, and also the 6, the Champ is Flooring. And the spread race for me is the anchor leg of the Stronach 5. It's leg E, and it's race number 10 at Gulfstream Park, a mile on the turf, $20,000 Maiden Claiming race. Again, I think you have to decide, what do you want to do with the 3 Donegal Aces? 9-5 on the morning line. If he runs back to his race 2 starts back at Belmont, he's simply going to win because he exceeded the buyer par for this level. He did it easily. He looked good. And then they ran him in a maiden special weight, and he was basically eased from the 3/8 pole to the wire. He just didn't look comfortable. He's now dropping all the way in class. Timeform US believes that he can make the lead. And in these maiden claiming races, that's more than half the battle. You get to the front, a lot of these horses just don't want to win or don't want to beat you or don't have a lot of ability. And Donegal Aces might be able to sprint on home. Whether you want to use them or not, I think you should use other horses. I'm not completely sold on Donegal Aces. I do want to use the number 10, Fine Spirit. Fine Spirit, I thought, ran well 2 starts back at Gulfstream West. He was very wide going into the first turn. He was forced to move to the front extremely early when the pace setter dumped the rider and bolted. The next thing you know, Fine Spirit has the lead in the stretch, is battling with a horse that came back to win the very next start over the channel. It was a good effort. He then took him 2 months to get back to the races off that race. It was not a good effort last time out at Gulfstream, more of an even performance than anything else. But I think now, second off the layoff, Fine Spirit and Edgar Prado are going to get a little bit closer to the pace and Donegal Spirit in here. I think that Fine Spirit can get close to Donegal Aces and might be able to outsprint them in the lane. 8-1 on the morning line, just a fair price on Fine Spirit. Other horses I want to use, the 4, Preacher Marcy, and you know I don't like playing Bernardinis on the turf. They're mostly rotten. He's a great sire, not a good turf sire. This horse does have Kitten's Joy on the bottom of the pedigree, however, and while this horse is returning off an extremely long layoff, about 16 months or so, it looks like he's working well for Michael Maker, and I'd urge everyone to check out the Mike Welsh Clocker reports available on DRF.com covering Gulfstream and Santa Anita for this meet. It looks like Preacher Marseille has found a good spot for the return to the races. Maybe a mile on turf with the Kitten's Joy on the bottom is what he wants. I hate throwing Michael Maker out in any kind of race. Royal Family, the 6, might be more of a reach. Royal Family last time out, I thought had a decent enough trip. The pace might not have been fast, but he was in a good spot by himself. He came with a little bit of a run. The buyer of 59, though, if some of these horses regress, puts him in the mix, 8-1 with Nick Juarez. And a horse that I think I'm going to use as a backup's the 11, Perfect Enough. Perfect Enough's making the 3rd start of the form cycle. Passed a couple of horses last time out to finish 3rd. Not sure if there's a lot of upside, but like Fine Spirit, can stay close to the pace. And if Donegal Ace's last race is a sign that the wheels are beginning to come off, horses like Fine Spirit and Perfect Enough, they might be the ones to take direct advantage. So for me, not sure what I'm going to do with Donegal Aces just yet. Might even try to toss him if he's going to be a short price. And we'll spread with the 4, 6, 10, and 11 in the last leg at Gulfstream Park of this Friday's Stronach 5. $100,000 guaranteed pool. We've got a low 12% takeout. It's a $1 minimum wager. Remember to play it with your DRF Bets ticket maker. And leg A, Laurel Park, 3:52 Eastern. Best of luck.